When I got my ADHD diagnosis at 43, I didn't fall apart. I didn't feel broken. I cried. But not because I was sad. I cried because I was sitting in that office going through 43 years of my life in 60 seconds, and suddenly every single confusing, painful, shameful moment made complete sense. This video is for anyone who has ever wondered, why is my brain like this? Because I promise you, there is an answer, and once you have it, everything looks different. I grew up being called smart. Teachers loved me, and then they'd add, but she doesn't apply herself, but she loses track, but she could do so much better if she just focused. And I believed them. I genuinely believed that the problem was me, that I was lazy or careless or somehow choosing to struggle. I carried that belief for 4 decades. The day I got diagnosed, I called my mom, and I said, "Mom, I have ADHD." And she was quiet for a second, and then she said, "Oh, honey, that explains so much." She was right. It explained everything. So let me walk you through some of the things that, it all makes sense now, actually unlocked for me. The overwhelm. All my life, things that seemed easy for other people felt completely impossible to me. Starting tasks, finishing them, prioritizing. I thought I was just bad at adulting. Turns out, ADHD affects executive function. Those things aren't personality flaws, they're neurological. My brain is literally wired differently. The emotional intensity. I cried at commercials. I'd get devastated by small criticism. I was told I was too sensitive my whole life. Turns out, emotional dysregulation is one of the most common and least talked about ADHD symptoms, especially in women. The exhaustion. Why was I so tired all the time when I hadn't done anything? Turns out, when your brain is working 3 times as hard just to do what everyone else does on autopilot, tired makes complete sense. The friendships I lost, the jobs I almost lost, the relationships I nearly destroyed with my inconsistency, not character flaws, unmanaged, undiagnosed ADHD. I am not telling you this so you can blame everything on ADHD. I'm telling you this because you have been beating yourself up for something that was never your fault to begin with. Here's what I want you to sit with. You weren't lazy. You weren't dramatic. You weren't a bad student or a bad employee or a bad mom. You were doing all of that with an undiagnosed brain condition, without any accommodations, without any support, without even knowing what was happening. That's not something to be ashamed of. That is something to be in awe of. You made it this far, with all of that working against you. Imagine what you can do now that you know. Next week, I'm talking about the question I get asked the most after a late diagnosis. Is it too late? And my answer might surprise you. Subscribe so you're here for it. And in the comments, I want to hear yours. What was the thing that finally made sense after your diagnosis? See you next time.